And gentlemen, stay right there. I'm going to bring you up one at a time because you need that. You should get that. I am so excited about this panel, having met this group, having prepared for this. So one at a time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Lakota Kid, Derek Cornish, Kyle Erdmann, Sean McGraw, and Chris Hermes.
Welcome.
Please give him a big round of applause.
Welcome.
I knew Sean.
Big daddy. Okay. Hey guys, thank you so much. Yeah, it's okay.
We got another chair for you. Let me get him.
Oh, I don't mind standing. How about that? If you need me, I can sit. Want me to sit?
Yeah, let's get a chair for you.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Thank you.
So while I'm getting my chair, can you guys hear me okay down here? I want to start off some questions with these guys. Look, raise your hand in this room if you've always aspired to micromanage a business. And yet, we unintentionally find ourselves micromanaging a business because it's hard to release control. I get it. We're all in on our business. So it's very easy to want to try to over-control things. But we also know that's just simply not a scalable business model. So I kind of want to start off there. I want to understand from your perspectives, okay? How did you transition? And maybe you're in the middle of it right now. Maybe it's not perfect just yet. But how did you, as business leaders, begin to figure out how to lose control? Oh, but first they have to, sorry about that, Pat.
That's exactly right. No, so Brian and I are both excited to ask questions. But before we do that, we're going to have each of them tell you a little bit about themselves, and we're going to start with Lakota.
Sure. Do I just click this or what?
Yeah, just click it. Jason, we'll need the slide up there for Lakota.
My chair's going to fall over.
All right, Lakota, just go ahead.
So I'm Lakota Kid. Pretty much came from nothing. At the age of 21, I partnered with Derek, and we started Top Home Improvements in my mom's garage. The slide would have a picture of me with long hair sitting next to him, but much younger, probably about 5 years ago, in a filthy garage. And that's where we started. We didn't have any money, a whiteboard, and just a dream, and Top was born. I was the marketer, and Derek was the closer. And the only way I knew how to generate appointments without spending money was from knocking doors. So every day I would hop in my old beat down high school truck named Connie, and I would drive to a neighborhood. They would hear me coming. I'd get out and I'd go and canvass for the entire day until his schedule was full. And it was just him and I for the first 6 months of Top, and I did it every single day, rain or shine. But there was one day that I'll never forget, and that was the day that I wanted to quit. It was in the middle of winter in Michigan, and I was standing in a blizzard. My ink pen was frozen, and I just wanted to give up. We weren't really getting anywhere, but I had a thought that, one day, if we can truly take something from that day in the blizzard to make something powerful, from nothing to something, that one day we'd be invited up on stage somewhere and we'd be able to tell our story. And today's that day. So, from the kid knocking in the blizzard to the man that's here today, a lot's happened, but I'm super grateful to be here, and I hope, someone gets something out of what we have. Flash forward 5 years, I no longer knock doors, but we do have close to 40 people that do it for us. We're generating over $15 million in revenue, and what makes us unique is almost all of it is face-to-face marketing, nothing inbound. So, we took knocking doors to the extreme, and we're scaling really fast. Our biggest target is we want to be one of Michigan's largest home remodelers, doing over $50 million. So that's our story, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Derek, hand it over to Derek.
No slides.
No slide for me either. I'm Derek with Top Home Improvements, partners with Lakota. His picture was the two of us. Like you said, we had a whiteboard, a dream, and on that whiteboard contained we need apparel, iPads, and to figure out leads. Nothing really important on there. Then fast forward, I had a picture of us at our Christmas party last year, and there was about 100 people in it. And from that day that we left a great company in our area, good paying jobs to start our own, to that we thought it would get easier when we had people. And as we all know, it doesn't get easier, it just gets harder. So that's kind of the story of us. There's days that you can't see straight, and then the next day you walk into a company event and you're like, see all the smiles, you're like, this is why we do it. There's days, so that's the story about us.
Awesome.
So just so you guys know, we'll make sure that those slides with those pictures are up in the app before the end of this presentation. And now it's on to Kyle.
So my name's Kyle Erdmann. I own Erdmann Exterior Designs. Hey, the slide's there now for me. I also own Erdmann Outdoor Living, Structure North Shore, and Structure Scottsdale will be launching January 2026. So we're very excited for our expansion into a new market. My wife and I own the business together. We just bought the business in July, so we're still relatively new to owning a business. My dad founded the business in 1982, but for the time when I was with him, and I grew up in the trades and grew up in the business, we kind of meandered around $5 million. My dad always told me, keep it lean, don't market. If you're not doing everything, you're not doing anything. Everything that is so wrong about owning a business. So in 2024, my wife and I took control over the business, and we've been able to grow it from the $5 million business to this year we'll do about 15 million. Most of it doing pergolas and decks. We're very happy. We believe in having a culture-first business, so we hire for culture, we retain for culture, and we make sure that everybody feels like they're an important part of the business every day. We love what we do, so thank you guys for having me, and excited for this.
Hey everybody, Sean McGraw. I own a company called 4 Energy. We're headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm 38 years old. I like to tell people I've got 38 years of home improvement experience. So I grew up in a family business. My dad had a window replacement business in Detroit. And I moved to Arizona. I said, forget the snow, I'm going to sunshine. I took one class in college that was centered around solar, and I just decided to pursue that. I felt I could get into home improvements with a product that makes a lot of sense, and so we started as a solar company in 2010. Fast forward, we were a rocket ship. Solar was exploding. It was easy at the time. Along the way, we started getting good at energy efficiency. So we got into doing energy audits, insulation, some boring stuff that people don't think about up in their attic. Solar has been a really interesting industry, and in 2024, we decided to wind down our solar division. So our best year, we hit 23 million. This upcoming year, we'll do 6.5 in energy efficiency, and we are 100% double downing on energy efficiency moving forward. Super grateful to be here. I've been at all 10 conferences. How many, Patrick? What are we on?
Eight.
I've been to 8, sorry. Started in Baltimore. This is a far cry from Baltimore. This is so much better. But thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to sharing.
That's great.
My name is Chris Hermes, owner of USA Showers in Phoenix, Arizona. I had the pleasure to run into this guy about 11 years ago and started out as a window salesman with him. I've been in construction my entire life, serial entrepreneur, but fast forward, I've done a lot of things, helping build in Tundraland and coming out to Arizona, selling the business to Jacuzzi, and decided that I didn't fit inside the corporate box when I went with them and started USA Showers in June of 23. Our first year we did 2.5. Last year we did 8.9, and we'll do right around 10.5 this year. We have right around 50 teammates. We launched our Showers for Heroes program, and if anybody knows me, I wear the same thing every day. I'm very disciplined to the process, and I truly feel that's why USA Showers is so successful, and I'm excited to get started. So thank you all for having us.
Thanks, Chris.
So Brian, I know you've got some questions. You want to kick this thing up, and I've got a couple I'm going to add in here too, and then we're going to throw it out there to the audience. So take it away.
the word that keeps coming up is culture, and I know each of you quite well. And when I think about culture and the winning culture and a culture of empowerment, I just want to, what does that mean to you? How did you shift your business around to go from when you had to knock every door to now having trust other people to knock doors, or go from 2.5 million where you're doing everything to 10.5 million with empowerment? I'd like to just talk through that. Maybe Lakota, you can start off with that.
Well, when you said imposter syndrome, I've lived it. Starting out at 21, not knowing anything, still really don't. Just fumbled along the way. But how I always led was boots on the ground. We slowly scaled our canvassing department one by one. And I went from just the only guy to the second guy to the van lead. And Derek and I, we worked our way up, and we did every single position in the company, from data entry to selling to now leading. But culture is the biggest thing, and I think most companies do have great cultures, but you're going to say that, but you got to ask the employees, right? And I think the best way we lead is by lead a great culture is by growth and success. It makes it much easier, but every day we want our people to want to come in and want to jump on the obstacles and go on the hardships and take over those as well. And they do it just like we would, and we led them that way. So I think it really helps when we've done everything.
Who else wants to comment on that next? Go ahead.
I'll go. Culture to us leads back to the core values of the company. We've got 6. They mean a lot to us, so much so that we hire, fire, and promote to our core values. So there's a saying, you add one person to a team and it's a whole new team, and that can be totally true. But if you have core values that stick and you're religious about them, you continue to fill a culture with people that are the same or have the same beliefs, and that's just led us in the right direction forever.
You took the words right out of my mouth. We also have 6 core values, but when I started this business, it was really important that we had direction. So a mission, vision statement is also super important. And a lot of people talk about culture, and when we think about culture, if we really look at it, people want to be held to disciplines and they want to be held to KPIs. You want to run an amazing culture, give them targets, do one-on-ones, and hold them accountable to success. Because what we do is we're a training and development company. If I can help them be a better version of themselves, they're only going to be a better teammate for everybody on the team.
That's great. Kyle, that's great, by the way. Kyle, I want to ask you about culture. You took over the business you brought it out from your dad, right?
Correct, yeah.
You had a very different culture 2 years ago.
Yes.
Like, what was that like, resetting your culture from being a construction company to being a sales and marketing company, correct?
Yeah, the big thing we wanted to do was when we relaunched the business to our team, we wanted to really focus on what our mission is as a company, which our mission is to make construction fun again. We believe that no customer wakes up in the morning and says, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for my roofer to come out today. But we want to make them dread the experience just a tad less and have them excited to see us, excited for us to come out. But that starts with each staff member feeling like they're important to it and that they know why everything they do will reverberate down the entire chain to the customer. So when we talk about culture, we talk about making sure everybody's always enjoying themselves, creating a 5-star experience within our company, because that will create a 5-star experience outside of our company.
Excellent, I appreciate it. Now, Chris mentioned something about a culture of accountability, because what is your culture, right? Your culture is, every company has a culture. Your culture is how people think, feel, and behave inside of your organization. That is your culture. Whatever you want it to be, that is your culture. When we think about a culture of accountability, Derek and Lakota, you guys plugged in something known as daily reporting for an accountability structure. Mm-hmm. Talk to everybody. Tell them what that is. Tell them why you did it, how you learned about it, and what it's done for your business, please.
Yeah, so Brian taught us about this, and you want to run your business like a mathematical equation. Well, we didn't even know what that meant 6 months ago. But now what we do, and one of our biggest disciplines is every month we meet with our entire leadership staff. We sit down and they create the targets with us. We're just there to, push it a little bit or even lower it a little bit. They'll shock you. And every leader creates a target for the entire next month. And then what we do is we break that down on a KPI spreadsheet to daily performance on each department. And then we share it with the entire company. So what happens is, every marketer that comes into the company knows exactly how many issued appointments we need to bring to the table today. Every sales rep knows how many net deals we need today, and all the production crews know exactly how much we need to install. And when you have it down to like daily, you're going to get your result monthly and then yearly. But having something like that keeps everyone, motivated, ambitious, but also all aligned on one mission, and that leads to success.
Derek, how did it change your sales team? How did they receive that in the beginning? What changes did you have to make?
Well, to go off him too, by putting it all into one sheet with marketing, install, sales, they're competing, right? So everyone wants to do their job. So if I see marketing's not doing their job, well, it's going to motivate marketing to do their job. And flip around, if sales isn't doing their job, well, we're getting all these appointments, but they're closing at a shitty rate. It's a waste of our money. So it helps hold everyone accountable within the organization to keep pushing to have that.
Chris, you want to speak to that too? Any comments on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been doing that for a long time, and what we found is call it closing out your cash register every night. So we can all, as owners and business folks in here, we know that we should know our numbers. If you don't know your numbers, shame on you. But we can look at those reports every night. It's your teammates closing out their cash register and holding them accountable to did they succeed or did they not hit the target? Yeah. And then they can feel that, and we teach them how to run their business inside the business.
Yeah, I mean, so again, just to kind of put a bow on that, look, it's one thing for you, the business leader, to know your numbers. You should. But you need the people that are closest to the numbers to know their numbers, right? You telling them the results is much different than them telling you how they did compared to target every single day. I want to shift gears to lead generation, if that's okay, all right? Look, leads are expensive. 2026 is probably going to be a challenge, right? What are you going to do better, differently? What are you worried about? How are you thinking about lead generation in 2026? Why don't you start it off, Sean?
Yeah. I think we're in this weird limbo where PPC and some of the online lead gen that was super easy a couple years ago is getting harder. I think it's just show of hands. Is it harder for everybody in the room? Not enough hands. Maybe I'm just struggling. I don't know. And then we're in this AI transition where people are using ChatGPT to find leads. So I think there's a combination. For us, we're finding success in the old sandbox that a lot of people have left. And that's canvassing, that's shows and events, that's a combination of flyers, direct mail. But on the other side, we want to do what Marcus Sheridan preached this morning. We want to create trust signals and be the recommended company for AI. So we're kind of taking a twofold approach.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think everyone's so focused on what's next and what's to come that they totally forget about what has worked and is working right now. And that's face-to-face marketing, right? I'm blessed and grateful because I have one of the best mentors in the industry, Megan Beatty. She's taught me pretty much everything when it comes to face-to-face marketing. We went to a bunch of Tony Hody events and learned, about canvassing and implemented all those things into our people back home. And we've truly, are on pace to master it, and scale it. Like I said, out of $15 million, probably 13 million of that is canvassing shows and events. So I think that we should always be focused on what's to come and be open-minded to it, and then jump on it when it happens. But there's a lot of companies that need to take a step back and also master the crafts of old as well.
Anyone else want to talk about leads or Brian's questions?
Just real quick, we're all in on face-to-face and events. We hired an event coordinator. She's amazing, and we're all in. 2026 is get back to the basics, fundamentals. As you should.
So I wanted to change the frame just a little bit and get it back to how youthful you guys are, all running successful companies. And what I find fascinating as somebody who covers this industry, typically they're folks like my age, and they've been in the industry for a while. But you all bring sort of a fresh set of eyes, and maybe you now know how you see the industry differently than maybe some of your older peers, things that you might do better. And I wonder if each of you, or however many of you, could kind of talk about, we're doing things different here because we're seeing them a little bit different. And if anybody can really kind of chime in on that one.
The only thing I would have is, you're right, they're all old. But It's weird. Our concept at Top Home is we just implement same day, next day. So we're implementers. I think a lot of people get stuck on analysis paralysis, right? So we just implement it right away. And then another thing is we just, we never wanted to recreate a wheel. We just wanted to take the wheel that everyone else is doing and make it spin faster. You know, you heard from guys that are running billion-dollar companies. That's the secret. Copy and paste, right? But everyone else is trying to do whatever's new and test things out, which is great. Some of your budget should go to that, but the most of it should go to what everyone else is doing.
I mean, the playbook's been written. Really, all you need to do is implement the playbook, follow it. Everyone is so obsessed with trying to be new and cutting edge, and I'm going to reinvent the industry. I'm going to do this, but really, the playbook's out there. All you got to do is follow it, implement properly, and have the right people.
And I would say off that too is, back 20 years ago, everyone got stuck in their own ways, stuck in doing that same thing everyone was doing. You see people now that wouldn't have, my dad's an example. He thought one thing back in the day, now he flips to now. So being able to just adjust with times, how homeowners are buying, how they're setting, how they're talking, whatever they're doing, being able to adjust as you go instead of just, nope, this is how we do it. You always got to be able to adjust to the new.
Patrick, I can speak to that. Like you're saying, what are we doing faster or better?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really understanding AI. Like everybody keeps talking about it. Like it's speed to lead. And if you don't have a program out there that can throw a text or an email or a follow-up, like if we're not taking advantage of that technology and learning that, like we don't have to be professionals at that. We just need to maybe hire somebody or know how to work it to make sure that we have that in place, because it's a cutthroat business. I mean, I'm sure everybody can go to any market and there's 10 roofing companies, 15 bath companies, 30 window companies. It's how do we be different? And I think it's speed to lead, but also really being a part of your community and diving in through that, because if you're not helping the community, you're just like everybody else and you're just out there for the dollar. And I think it was Jim Rohn that said it, right? Help everybody get what they want and it'll come back 100-fold. So we're all in on face-to-face and being in the community and really driving that. We're a family-owned company that's here to serve you, and hopefully you want to do business with us.
Sean, anything you want to add to that, or?
I would really just echo what Lakota said. Success leaves breadcrumbs. I think everybody on the stage is pretty good at seeking to understand and showing up at these events and meeting a lot of you awesome people and learning from your businesses. Like the playbook is out there and most people are willing to share it. It's all about execution.
I also think that our generation, something we've been really good at doing is taking risk and acting on it. You know, when Sean talks about downsizing his business, I mean, that's something that takes a lot of risk to acknowledge that that's the right move and just act on it and do it. And one thing that I think our company's done well is we've been able to identify markets that are coming, take a risk, kind of go all in on it, get about 80% there and launch it and just kind of fine tune it while we're going. It only has to be 80% ready. We don't have to be 100% ready to go. We just have to go. So we're just not afraid to go.
Yeah, I do think that some of you are doing some super innovative things inside of your business, and you might not see it because it's so close to it. And I want to start with you, Lakota, and I'd like you to talk about your squad leader program that you're running in your business. I know that we ran it in one of our businesses, or a couple of them. Go ahead. Can you talk through that? What is it? Why are you doing it? What is it accomplishing? It's new, fresh, and different. Please.
Yeah, and we got it from you, and Derek runs it on the sales team, and it was running super well. So what it is pretty much when you get it's really tough for a manager or a canvas manager to manage 4 vans, and 40 people, right? But you also can't afford to have 6 managers, right? So BG sent us the squad program, and what that is you're just taking some guys that have some leadership skills and you want to test it out, and you're giving them 4 guys each, a squad to work with, right? And what all that the guy has to do is there's no more added to his plate, but he just goes, talks to his squad, keeps them motivated, tracks their numbers, brings it to their manager, does some one-on-ones with them, and just learns how to lead. And that's the key factor here about squads is oftentimes when we're ready to put someone in a management position, we don't know if they can do it. But with squads, you learn there's going to be some guys that you put into place and can run a squad really well. And then there's going to be other guys that blow your mind. You thought they could, and it's disastrous. Luckily, it's not a real position, so you just move it around. But what it's done for us is it allows us to have 40 marketers, move efficiently, lead them effectively, and also we're able to create other leaders within the company without having the position ready for them yet. So when it is time and we're ready to scale, we know exactly who we're going to promote.
How does that work on the sales team there, Derek?
On the sales team, you take a vet rep, that same thing, you want maybe take over location someday or whatever it might be, give them 3-4 sales reps, and their target every month is to hit, say, 30% close rate. Your team has to do that, and if you do, we may throw an incentive on it to do so. And what that does, it shows us, if the squad lead doesn't have a lead, is he outrunning with part of his squad to make sure they hit those numbers. It just keeps pushing everyone and taking over the team.
Right, to be clear, the squad leader is a co-producer. The squad leader knocks doors, sells, generates revenue, but they're doing it really for the exposure to leadership. Go ahead, Chris, you want to speak on that?
Well, the fun part is, if your teams aren't competitive, you're probably in the wrong business. But now you have squads that are competing against each other. And to the guy's point down there is, it's leadership and training. And so a sales manager in this instance can really, effective leader can manage 6 to 8 people. So if you have a big team and you have these squad leaders, they're almost like mini assistant managers. They can help take the phone calls, they can help coach, they can help train. You're still, as the leader, you're still in control of that. But I think the funnest part is the competitions that you can really rally them behind and get those squads.
Right. My VP of sales, Joe Moran, is the one that came up with this concept in our business at first. And he had each squad create their own logo and name and, again, compete with it. It was really cool. So congratulations. I have may I ask you a question here? When you guys think of growth for your business, you're growing through another location, right? You're opening up in Arizona. You're growing through another location. Is that the answer? Do you grow through locations versus taking on more products in your current market? How do you guys make those decisions inside your business?
For us, it's always been growing to new markets. It makes more sense. Niching down makes more sense. When my wife and I took over the business, we offered everything. And when we finally looked at one of our projects that we had like 15 or 16 different products on that house. And it was so unscalable and such a piece of trash business model that we crumpled it up, threw it out, and we've just been spending the last 2 years niching down. So next year, when we go into 2026, we're only going to have 5 different products that we offer, when we used to offer 15 plus per project. I believe that niching down just helps simplify a business to scale better, because you can train people better, and every single person just becomes the expert, because our sales team, we always say they have to be sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as hell, and an expert in their field. But who can be an expert when you have to memorize 20, 30 different things?
That's fair. Sean, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, a little bit of the opposite. I think there's a lot of ways to do it. So when we had this solar business that was growing, we decided to go wide instead of deep. And I'll never actually forget, Brian, you toured my office, Vince Nardo toured my office, and we were doing a little bit over 10 million. And Vince looked at me and said, "Why are you opening up all these new offices? You're in Phoenix, Arizona. There's 4 million people like within an hour of you. You can go deeper." And that was really eye-opening to me. So that was part of our move to not go wide, kind of wind down some offices and focus on Phoenix, where we have control. Our marketing can start working with each other. You'll start having more brand recognition. And that's been our experience. So we're trying to go deep before we start going wide.
And I would say also, everyone wants to grow and get big, but if you don't have your ducks in a row at your main location, it's not going to work out when you get 2 hours away, 3 hours away, different states away. So we focus on, and what we're doing now is just making sure all the ducks are in a row, so when these do start popping up, that they will run as smooth as they can. There'll always be hiccups, but.
So you guys, we touched on this earlier with Brian's question about culture and maintaining a culture and how it drives a lot of what you do to grow. But when you talk about hiring people, because you need people to grow and you need to find people who are like-minded and so forth and trainable. So I wonder if each of you could kind of tell us a little bit about how you're finding and retaining and training good talent. Like what are the sources, where you're meeting them, that type of thing. So we'll start with you, Lakota.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies are always focused on hiring the brightest and best, which is great. It's definitely possible. But where you can really scale is by cultivating it. That's something that we're really good at Top Home. We hire a lot of people with no experience. We have great leadership. We also have great training programs where we can take someone, that doesn't know anything about the industry, hire them on, give them the training and the leadership that they need, and then make them great. So we really hire people off of the things that you can't coach, and that's character. So we find bright people, and then we make them the best. And for example, actually, our director of operations, who runs 50% of our company, by the way, was a young lady 5 years ago that delivered pizza to Derek and I's office when it was just him and I. And we always knew she was positive and she was bright, but she doesn't know anything about this industry, and she's an exact example of, us taking someone like that, finding someone bright, and then making them great.
So we just need to order more pizza?
Yeah.
That must have been good pizza.
So yeah, it was decent pizza.
Yep. Do you want to jump on that there?
Yeah, I would say also to go off of that is, I'm sure some companies here, maybe a lot of companies, you might have someone that you've hired, because obviously hiring is guessing, firing is knowing. So keeping someone on too long because they're the smartest person that you know, or they might know more than you do because they've been running it for longer. We just recently had to let go of a guy that was with us for 6 years, did a lot for us, was great, helped us get to where we are now. But for us to get to the next level, he just wasn't a good fit. And what would happen is people would say, well, I would come back to Top Home, or I would stay at Top Home if this person wasn't here. So you got to understand that the easy decision was just to keep hiring a ton of people and just let them go and keep that person, or get rid of that person and grow from there to keep them on.
So we, as a company, we disc profile every single person that we onboard, and we've identified different profiles that work best for each position. And then from there, I worked with a company who used AI to take the optimal disc profile for the position, create an ad on Facebook that will appeal to that person, and then we get most of our applications that way, and then we do our interview process, disc profile them, again, just to make sure that nothing slipped through the cracks, just because like I said, we've identified how each position should profile, what their motivators should be, and what fits in best with our culture to make sure that everybody works together well.
Interesting. Sean?
Yeah, I said it before, but I'll say it again because I think it's important. We hire, fire, and promote to our core values. So I don't care if they have experience or if they don't. I do prefer if they don't, so they don't have all those old bad habits. But they've got to be coachable, and they've got to fit our culture. And if they do, we're going to take a shot. We've also had some of our best hires over the years be people that needed a second chance. So they weren't the most polished people. They didn't come into the interview in a suit and tie. That's just not real in our industry for the most part. And we took a chance, and they end up being some of the top performers because we gave them that chance.
That's right.
I love what you said about the AI and the Facebook. Sitting up on stage, I just took a nugget. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not listening and paying attention to that, that's a great idea. But I would say, I think we're at 40% of our team in Phoenix is a referral from somebody inside the business. Yeah. So to us, that's the best way to find people and pay them a referral bonus. Because if they love the culture and they love what you're doing, and if you're not coaching them to tell their friends and family and people that they know, then you're missing out, because a referral is going to be one of your better hires.
Yeah. And I'd like to answer that one as well, if you don't mind. It's interesting, the year before I sold my business, the last full year of owning the business, we received over 9,000 job applications of people that wanted to come to work for us, a lot of job applications. Here's what I've learned over the years, okay? First of all, we have to be very clear on our avatar of who we want to have work for us, right? Who do we want applying? We don't want the person that is a professional interviewer that has this at least I don't care about highly polished resume. I'm looking for the installer that is really does really great work and just has like a jerk for a boss, and maybe has a really bad day or a series of bad days at work, and he's finally at the point of being sick of this job, and he goes online to look for a job, and he almost feels guilty looking for a job. And I want to talk to that person right there. And to me, the most important piece of an ad, regardless of where you post it, is the first line. I want to meet them where they are. Hey, are you a hard worker, not appreciated where you're at today? Hey, do you do quality work and nobody recognizes you? Are you a great sales rep, not getting paid what you're worth? Are you a fantastic producer, but not given the leads you need to be successful? I want to meet them where they are with a hook. Those are the people I want to speak to, regardless of where I place it. Just something to consider.
I would also like to add to
go
that, though, too. One of the most important things to hiring, it's treat your applicants like leads. It's speed to lead. The faster you can get to these people to bring them in, and the faster you can move them through the process, the more likely the high performers will stick around, because high performers don't stick around for a long, tedious interview process.
So Brian, why don't you ask him one more question, then we'll open it up to the audience where we'll get the mic circulating, and you folks can ask some questions too.
Simple question, right? The audience here looks at these, these very successful businesses. I got one question. What keeps you up at night?
More leads.
That was going to be my answer.
Sorry.
Currently, we just had to fire our 2 top salesmen because they were bad culture fits. So lately, that has been keeping me up at night. I just fired $6.5 million worth of sales in one day.
But can I go back to you, Sean? And you said more leads, okay? But is it your concern in your ability to generate them? What is it?
No, I would say, and that's why I'm excited for face-to-face, because I can control that. You've always said, if you can knock a door, you're never going out of business.
Right.
And a lot of people forget that knocking doors got them to where they are. It's the other side. It's the unpredictability of where leads are coming from next year. We don't know what AI platform people are going to use to search for companies. Okay. So it's just the unknown and the lack of predictability in something that used to be very predictable.
That's fair.
Yeah, we just had a deep conversation on that. What's going to happen with Google, with chat and all this AI? Like, that's a big chunk of the business. We can go all in on face-to-face, but you need 1,000 face-to-face people for a $15 million business to be able to generate enough leads. So, it is that the unknown of what the next 12, 18 months are going to bring for us with AI and technology.
I'd say for me, the last month was letting go of that employee as a sales director, did a ton for us. So to find the new way we were going to do things, how it's going to lead our current managers and make sure that they have what they want was some stuff. And then leads and making sure we're hitting KPIs would be mine.
Awesome.
Well, I have a newborn. So 3 weeks old, so I haven't really slept. But when it comes to business, I would say, honestly, excitement. I'm truly excited for, overcoming the obstacles of tomorrow. But I've also lived the other way of, fear of failure too. And I think as owners and everyone in this room, we have a fear of failure, that we have to overcome. But we all made it here for a reason. We're all sitting in this room for a reason, because no matter what happens, we make it through, and we don't only survive, but we thrive. And that's something that all of us share. This is a tough industry. It's tough. It's not easy, right? But we survived, and now the next goal is to thrive. So honestly, I'm excited, and we just have to have the confidence in ourselves that no matter what happens tomorrow, we can overcome it.
It's a good thing you got a good mindset, coach.
That's true. Sean Fourier.
Okay.
That's awesome.
All right, so now it's your turn. Linda and Ryan each have a microphone. If you have a question, raise your hand. They'll bring you the microphone, and just say your name and your company name, and direct your question to somebody in the or in our panel, and they'll do their best to answer it. Who's first? Anybody? Okay, Dan. Oh.
Hey, I'm Chris McNally out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, with Hivex Basements. Just got a question on really expansion, kind of open to anyone up there. We're looking to expand next year. With that, what is almost too soon, or to announce, we're going to be announcing we're coming to this area, but it's almost like the afraid of getting the phone calls, but we're not. We're going to run every appointment we get, but setting leads. Yeah, kind of like the marketing strategy of timeline on, we don't want to say coming soon, and then all of a sudden our phones are blowing up, but we can't install them yet. What would your kind of marketing strategy be on that?
So timeline question, how do you map that out?
We this past year because we've thought about a location that we're going to go to. And one thing that we did is looked at what home shows they had over there. And we actually just booked all of the home shows, sent marketers over there, and then sent sales reps for 2 weeks to run those leads to kind of test it out on that part.
Yeah, I would say just, that's what we did. I'm open to advice on this too, because we want to open up a third one, but we just tested it and see if it worked, and then it's copy and paste.
So we reverse engineered our launch. So we launched January 12th in Scottsdale. So we figured out when do we want to have the employees start. So that at that point we said, okay, we want to start interviewing in November. So we launched our website beginning in November. So currently our Scottsdale website's launched. So that not only does that get it out there for our applicants to go to so they look like a real business, but also it gives us time to start boosting our organic rankings through Google. We also started posting on our social medias. So just to make sure when we do sign a job in January, we don't look like a brand new business. We'll have 2 months worth of data. Am I worried about getting leads early? I mean, we have our first lead. I'm just going to go down there when I'm interviewing people in person next week and run the lead. I mean, everyone up here is worried about getting leads. What's the worry about getting a lead in your new spot? Yeah. So, I mean, there's those things. And then, we're going to launch our Facebook ads starting January 1st, because that usually takes like 2 to 3 weeks to start building up. So, I mean, it's really just timelines of when you want to launch, and then you have to do your research onto each marketing platform and lever that you want to pull and how long the burn rate is to get that going, because then you can figure out how long you need to have it up before you launch.
Yeah, so we've opened up locations more than many times, okay? A couple of things to this, okay? The first thing is, don't get over your skis, okay? All right, I'm just want to let you know that it's very important that you're able to hit targets in your current market with a high level of certainty before you start trying to replicate that. That's number one. The second thing is the most difficult thing and the most important thing to replicate is your culture, okay? Because that really matters, and doing that from a distance it matters. The third thing is where I see most companies getting it wrong is they spend too much money on fixed cost before proving the market is a good market. If you've got, how long is your lead time from the time you sell something to the time you're done with it? About.
Oh, you're asking?
Yeah, how long? About 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So you don't need a facility right away, right? What you need is you need sales reps in that market. Can you generate leads and can you sell stuff? Can you prove the market before you actually even take on the overhead of a facility? It's okay to be wrong, just don't be wrong for long. So I would say that's very important when opening up a new market. As important as anything else is testing the market ahead of time.
And I would add to that too is make sure you have everything documented. Like if you don't have all your process documented and trying to transfer that over to the next location, just pack up. Like seriously, if you don't have the disciplines that Brian said to do it really with excellence in this spot, don't do it somewhere else until you have it good here.
Correct. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, we have time for a couple more questions. We have a gentleman over there. Microphone's coming your way. Hang tight.
Here we go.
So we just need your name and company.
Sure. Mark Labradette, design build specialist, San Francisco Bay Area. So your canvassing has got me fascinated because I feel like I'm in an old Phil Ray seminar about canvassing. So, and a number of you do it. So I'm curious on the math of that. Are all 40 of your canvassers independent salespeople booking their own sales calls? Are they booking for a series of sales? What's the structure of that? And I'm curious about your client acquisition costs with 40 marketers and $15 million of revenue. How does the math of that work out?
Sure. So no, they're all W-2 and they're only marketers, right? So what they do is they are only great at learning the training and the process for creating leads, and they go door to door and they create that, and then they send that to our call center, and our call center will issue those appointments to the sales reps. So they're in their own category. As far as having 40, we always bulk up before winter, because obviously we're in Michigan. I'd love to knock in Florida. There's a lot of companies that are in Arizona. So I would knock every day. My ink won't freeze, so I think you just need to jump on it, and it's like Chris said earlier, everyone is so against it. It's the naughty word. It works. It's working right now. It's all that we do. And we've found a lot of success on that. Now we can add in traditional marketing, but if you don't know how, this is where most people get stuck. Who's read Who Not How, the book? Okay, so people need to read that. It changed my life. You know, we get stuck on, because we don't know how to do it, we don't do it. Well, all you need is someone who knows how to do it. And there's plenty of people out there. There's Tony Hody, there's Megan Beatty, that you can literally go to and learn this from, and then implement it within your business.
And Brian Gottlieb, you could learn it from too. Yeah.
Always a phone call away, man. Always a phone call away.
Great question. Anybody else have a question for our panel? All right. Just your name and company name, where you're from.
I'm Julia Fortcourt from Pella, Austin. I'm curious what you guys invested in early on that helped you scale your business long term, whether that be someone you hired, a role you hired, or maybe a service that you guys started using.
Anyone want to start with that?
So one thing we jumped on early was creating awesome social media content, knowing that that's going to be a long burn. But because we've been able to not only short form, but long form video too. So now we're getting into more long form video content once again to be the experts. But building the library of content that we have, posting it, has paid off in not only our cost per lead, because like for our pergola business, our cost per lead is about $62. And I know I'm in a room full of people that would kill to have $62 cost per lead. But it's managed to keep our cost per lead down, but also it's enabled us to then broaden our social media horizon to say social media is not only a place for us to gain customers and have a beautiful portfolio, but it's also a place where prospective employees can go and see what our culture looks like and then customers can go there and see how each of our employees interact with each other and who's coming out. So, you know, my wife and I, when we talked about bringing on a social media person, we had both agreed we were probably a year before we were ready to do it. But it's paid itself off in dividends. It's been amazing. So,
anybody else have a particular investment?
I would just say, you know, when I started the business, you have to hire to your weakness. And so if you know what that is, hire to that person and let them do that, like who, not how, right? And hire to that so you can build the other side. And so my key hire was, you know, my marketing manager that really helped me get everything going with the call center and all the marketing. Because if you're not making a lead, you ain't making a sale.
Yeah, and real quick, I think you got to stay out of it's very easy to fall into a bubble in this business where the only thing you see is everything inside of the walls of your business. These rooms like this, meet other people, exchange phone numbers, create a networking group, make friends, stay out of your bubble, and you'll grow together.
That's a great point.
All right. We've got time for one more if there is a question out there. Yeah, a young lady in the back and a gentleman over here, so we'll try to do two. And just state your name and company name.
Kevin Fedati, NG Windows, Atlanta. As a company who's interested in canvassing and kind of picking that up over here, what is those disc profiles? Disc profile, we had Megan Beatty train us to some of our marketers. So what are some of those disc profiles you look for those marketers and your sales professionals?
Do you disc your people?
Not on marketing, mainly sales. You know, it's like after doing it for a while, you learn what kind of avatar you're looking for, right? You need someone who's hungry, who's willing to go out, you know, in the cold and generate, but also our pay structure is an hourly base, but performance based as well. So you need someone that has the sales rep mentality, maybe that just doesn't want to do in-home sales, right? So we're really, like I said earlier, we're just looking for bright people that we believe can come in and want to grow and want to learn and go through our training. And then we send them out there and they sink or swim kind of thing. Now, what we found is with the training and the leadership is a lot of them do really well. But at the end of the day, you know, canvassing is not meant for everyone. Not everyone can do it. So the best way we found is just we're constantly hiring people, having them come in, train them, sending them out there. All we can do is offer them an opportunity. What they do with that opportunity is up to them. But we're going to make sure that we try to make them as successful as possible. And if they do find that here, great, they can stay. And if they don't, they can go somewhere else.
Megan, I can see your sparkly shirt back there. DI though, is that what you'd say? DI would be the proper disc profile.
And for sales too, same thing. Like BG always says, you know, we're in such a simple industry, but yet we overcomplicate everything. So when you start hiring, you know, DCs and outside of ID, DIs, it just never works out. So I'd stick to the same thing with
Just
marketing.
a quick show of hands on disc profile. Who's familiar in the room? Okay, so we're all talking the same language.
I have a very different opinion on that. It's interesting. I don't believe in disking canvassers at all. And the reason my opinion is, and the truth is, they're 18, 19, 20 years old. I've read the words on the disc profile. Some of them, I don't understand what that word means. And do I expect the canvasser to understand what that word means? So I don't know, do I trust that the result is going to be right? I want people that can come up, that'll show up, that are not afraid to talk to people. And I'm going to give anybody a shot knocking doors, okay? And if, you know, and if I'm going to give anybody a shot in canvassing. Personally.
Yeah, that's what we do. We just give them an opportunity and see what they do with it. You know, we don't need to be judgmental when it comes to that because it's a tough job. But our best canvasser was a 16-year-old kid, fresh out of high school, killer. Awesome. And now he's in sales. You know, so when they do really well in marketing, and one day they're like, "Hey, man, I don't want to knock anymore," you know, you can raise them into a different department as well. And now he's a killer there as well.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, so we are at the end of our time here, but I want to give a big round of applause to, what, is there a response there?
No, there was still one more question over there.
There actually is one more, but we don't have time, so we're going to have to do it afterward. But Lakota, Derek, Kyle, Sean, Chris, thank you so much. Brian, thank you for the idea. Thank you for making this happen. Okay, now, we have one thing we want to do with you guys.
Bam.
And you want to wrap up or make a few comments here? We're doing
Yeah,
this?
look, you know what? It's, as I was saying earlier, we're all trying to figure this business out together. And that's what's so important about this community, that please know that you're not alone. You know, we're a sharing community, and nobody has all the answers, but together, working with each other, I think people generally care about each other, and don't be afraid to step out of your bubble and get to know others. You know, it's great what you learn in the classroom. It's even better what you learn in the hallway.
So on behalf of Qualified Miler and Top 500, thanks a lot, guys. You crushed it. And they're available to talk. We'll take a quick photo. I think. All right. Did we get a picture of them, sir? Did you get a picture of these guys up there?
Oh.
Sorry, one sec.
Come on, I'll come in with you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Great job,
man. Nice job.
All right, it's my pleasure to bring up one last short message from a platinum sponsor.